All right, welcome to Masbase TV. My name is Evans Okay. We are still solving questions of the teacher licensure exams. So, looking at this question, this is one of the questions of the October 2025. We are able to solve some of the questions and we are still solving the rest. Now, looking at this question, we are saying that which of the following distances is the shortest? So looking at this question, you realize that most of the all the options are given in different units. Yes, so that is the centimeters, meters, millimeters, kilometers. Okay, before you be able to identify which one is the shortest or the smallest, you should be able to at least convert them into what the same units. Once you do that, it becomes easy for you. But if you look at some kind of these questions, these are some of the questions that majority of people find it so difficult. Yes, because of the unit conversion, a lot of people find it so difficult to convert as to whether how many centimeters give 1 kilometer, whatever. Yes, so let me take this opportunity to take you through some of the conversions of these units. All right. Yes, so um, we know that if you take this measurement, kilometers is what bigger than all of them. From kilometers, then we move towards meters. From meters, we move to centimeters and then millimeters. So if you compare these four units, you realize that millimeters is rather the shortest or the smallest among these four. All right, yes. So it is in that order. If that's the case, then recall that we learned some of these measurements in our basic schools. We learned that whenever you are given 1 kilometer, it is what it corresponds to 100 thousand meters, and when you have 1 meter, it also corresponds to 100 centimeters, and 1 centimeter is also equal to 10 millimeters. But how do you do all these conversions? So let's go through how we'll be able to convert some of these units. All right, yes, that is great. So as we are saying that if we are doing that, then we can say that if you take 1 kilometers, which is greater than 1 meter, then if you convert from kilometers to meters, it means that I need to get 1000 of the meters. Okay, 1000 of the meters to be able to get 1 kilometer. Okay, then if I want to know centimeters, then have to get what 100 of the centimeters, and that will give me what 1 meter. What about if I want to get 1 centimeters, then I need to get what 10 of the millimeters to be able to get 1 centimeters. Okay, what about if I want to convert from kilometers to centimeters? Now, before I'll be able to, so if you look at this path, okay, the path going, that means we are moving from kilometers up to meters. So if I want to move straight from kilometers to centimeters, what do I do? What I do is that before that, I'll have to pass through meters. If I'm passing through meters, then it means that I have to multiply what 1000 by 100 to be able to get centimeters, and that gives me what 100,000. So it means that 100,000 centimeters will give me 1 kilometers. What about if I want to move straight to millimeters? It means I will have to multiply the 1000 by 100 by 10. Then it's going to give me 1 million what millimeters. So 1 million millimeters gives me 1 kilometers. Okay, yes, so that is the conversion. Now take note that before you convert from bigger to smaller, we do what multiplication. Okay, when you are converting from the biggest to the smallest, we multiply. All right, yes. Yes. So the same way, if we are moving from smallest to the biggest, what do? We divide. So note, when it is when you are converting, or when it is converted from the largest to the shortest or to the smallest, we multiply. But when it is converted from the smallest to the biggest, we divide. As simple as that. Okay, yeah. So since we are converting from biggest to smallest, then we need to what? Multiply. Okay, so that deals with the multiplication. Okay, yes. But if we are moving from the smallest, okay, that one, the same value. Okay, so it means that if I want to convert from meters and millimeters to centimeters, then I will have to divide whatever figure given in millimeters by 10, and that gives me what? Centimeters. Okay, what about if I want to convert from centimeters to millimeters? Then that one as well, I have to what? Divide whatever is given to me in centimeters by 100, and that gives me meters. The same applies to if I want to move or convert from meters to kilometers, then I have to divide whatever figure is given in the meters by 1000 to be able to get what? 1 kilometers. So that also suggests that it deals with what? The division. Okay, we divide when we are converting from smaller to what? Bigger. And we multiply when we are converting from bigger to smaller. So take note of this. And we use these values. Okay, we use these values. If that's the case, let's take this example. Okay, yes. So for example, we have what? 5 kilometers. So if I have 5 kilometers and I want to convert these 5 kilometers to meters, what do? Since we are saying that we are converting from kilometers to meters, it means we are moving from a bigger number to what? A smaller number. Then what do? Do we divide or we multiply? Remember I said when we are moving from bigger to smaller, we do what? We multiply. And what are we going to multiply? Because if you look at the path there, you realize that when you move from kilometers to meters, that means you will have to multiply whatever you have in kilometers by 1000 to get what? The number of meters. So it means we are going to multiply 5 by what? 1000. And that is going to give us what? 5,000 meters. So it means 500 kilometers gives what? 5,000 meters. What about if I want to convert the same 5 kilometers to centimeters? You know that before that I have to pass through what? Meters. Then I have to multiply the because when I was converting from kilometers to meters, I multiplied the 1000 by the 5. But if I want to convert from kilometers to centimeters, what do? Then I will multiply the 5 by the 1000 and multiply by the 100 again, because I will have to pass through what? Meters. And if that's the case, then what is going to be given? Then it means that I'm going to be given what? 500,000 centimeters. So it means 5 kilometers gives what? 500,000 centimeters. What about if I'm changing the same 5 kilometers to millimeters? Then if when I was changing from kilometers to centimeters, I multiply by what? 1000 by 100. Then this time I have to add the 10. So meaning that I will still multiply by 10 again because before I move from kilometers to millimeters, I have to pass through meters and again pass through what? Centimeters. Then passing through all this, I have to multiply all those figures there. Okay, so we realize that if I want to get it, then it will be 500, and the 5 kilometers will be multiplied by 1000 by 100 and by 10, and that's going to give me what? 500 and 5 million millimeters. So it means that if you change 5 kilometers to millimeters, you are going to get 5 million millimeters. You see that? Very, very hot, basic. If that's the case, then we can say that we can. All right, so you see, that is how it is. Okay, yeah. So once you're able to get down these conversions, then it is easy for us to. Now let's try and see if when we are to rather convert from smallest to biggest, because of the examples we used, we were converting from biggest to smallest. So let's this time, let's take this example. Okay, so let's say you have 250 millimeters to convert to what? Centimeters. What do you do? The same way, because when you are converting from centimeters to meters, you have to what? Multiply whatever is given in centimeters by 10 to get the number of what? Millimeters. And in this case, if I'm changing backwards, then I'll have to divide with the same value. Okay, I'll have to divide by the same value. So um whatever value is given in millimeters, if I want to change to centimeters, then I will just divide that amount by 10. Okay, so in that case, it is going to be what? 250 divided by 10, and that is going to give us what? 25 centimeters. Okay, yes, 25 centimeters. That is great. All right, if that's the case, then let's see. What about if I'm to convert to meters? The same way, I will have to what? Divide by 1,000. Okay, so if I'm converting from um, millimeters to meters, then I'll have to divide by 1,000, and that will give me what? 0.25, okay, meters. Have you gotten that? That is very wonderful. Or what about if I want to convert from millimeters to kilometers? Then I will have to divide by what? 1 million. Okay, yes, 1 million. That is very interesting. All right, yes. So if I divide it, then what am I going to get? Then I'm going to get 0.00025 kilometers. So you realize that whenever you are changing from um, smallest, you are changing from smallest to biggest, the numbers reduce. Okay, the numbers reduce. But when you are changing from biggest to smallest, okay, you realize that the numbers what? They increase. The fact that they are increasing doesn't mean those in the smallest they are bigger than. No. So for instance, if you take 5 kilometers, okay, if you take 5 kilometers and 5 million millimeters, someone may think that the 5 million what millimeters is rather greater than. No, it's just that the number is what? Bigger, but in terms of measurement it is smaller. Okay, yes. So the more you move to a higher measurement, the more the numbers what reduces. Okay, the number what reduces. Listen again, I said the more you move to the highest measurement, the more the number reduces, and the more you move to the smaller measurement, the higher the number what increases. Okay, yes, that is how it works. If that's the case, then we can go back to our question. Okay, we can go. All right, yes, that is wonderful. Mm. So if that's the case, then once we know this, the measurements, then we can quickly solve this example here. So which one is the shortest? Then let's try and convert them. Okay, so here we can either convert from either we can convert, can choose one of the measurement and convert all of them to. In this case, I want us to choose the smallest. We said that the um we were given all these measurements. Okay, we said the millimeters is the smallest. Okay, yes, and the kilometers is the biggest. So if that's the case, let's try and convert to millimeters and see. Once we convert to millimeters, then we can compare our solution. Okay, the one which is shortest will identify itself. Okay, once we're able to convert all of them. Yes, that is very wonderful. All right, yes. Yes, so that is what we have. Okay, so we can convert from um either the smallest to the biggest. Once we know that millimeters is the smallest, then we can convert to that. Okay, if that's the case, then let's convert the first one, which is 750 centimeters to millimeters. And remember, we have been able to go through the conversions. So now you should be able to tell how many millimeters give what 1 centimeters, and that is what 10 millimeters give what 1 centimeters. And once we are changing from we know that centimeter is 1 centimeter is bigger than what 10 millimeters, then we are changing from a bigger number to a smaller number. In that case, do we multiply or we divide? As we learned that we have to multiply, then it means that I will just multiply the 750 by 10, and whatever I get becomes what my answer in millimeters, and that gives me what 700 and 7,500 what millimeters. So when you change from 750 centimeters, that is what you are getting. Then let's also change from meters to millimeters. And you all know that we also said that 1 meter is equal to what 1,000 millimeters. So we also multiply that one. Okay, yes, 3.2 by 1,000, and that is going to give us what 3,200 millimeters. All right, yes. Now as for the C, which is 200 millimeters, it is already in millimeters, so we will not change that. We only change those that are not in millimeters. So we change the 0.15 kilometers to millimeters. And what did we also talk about? How did we convert kilometers to millimeters? We also said that 1 kilometer, okay, is equal to what 1 million millimeters. If that's the case, then we multiply that one also by 1 million. Okay, yes. So when we multiply, then what are we going to get? We know that we are going to get 150,000. All right, yes, that is what we are going to get. Okay, 150,000 millimeters. So it means that if you convert from 0.15 kilometers to millimeters, you are going to get 150,000 what millimeters. So now the conversions are done, so you can see it clear. You'll be able to tell. Once you do it this way, you'll be able to tell. I'm not saying this is the only way we can do it. There are so many ways we can do this, but this is one of the ways. Okay, someone may also decide that no, me, I will not convert all of them to millimeters. Someone may decide to convert all of them to centimeters and compare. Someone may also decide to convert all of them to what meters, or someone may decide to convert what some all these to what kilometers. So you do the one that suits you, the one that you prefer. You do it. At the end of the day, you get the same what answer. Okay, but in my case, I decided to convert all of them to millimeters. All right, because I wanted to avoid the decimal numbers. Most people find it so difficult when it comes to decimal numbers to compare. So I wanted to avoid the decimals. That's why I converted to millimeters. Once you do that, the decimals will be reduced, and you get whole numbers, which will be easy for you to identify which one is the shortest. So looking at these values, it is obvious the C, which is already in millimeters, is the smallest. Okay, so you see that the 200 is greater than 3.2, at the same time greater than 0.15. But when after the conversion, you realize that it is rather what the smallest. You see, yes. So the measurement or the unit tells whether it is bigger or smaller. So then we can conclude that our answer is what they see. Okay, and that is it. Okay, so colleagues, let's end here and continue next time. My name is Evans Okain. I'm still your mathematics facilitator. This is Maths TV. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share. So we shall continue next time. Bye bye.